Hey YouTube, it's Bianca and I'm back, and I am just here to give you guys a little rundown of my second half of COT. So I know I made a couple videos about how I felt coming in on my the first week 1 and 2. For all those that didn't get a chance to watch that video, just give you a rundown. COT is a 5-week commissioned officer training program. It's here at Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery, Alabama, and I am currently going into week 5, so I am about to be done. Week 1 and 2 was extremely rough for me. If you guys go back and watch that last video, you will understand where my head was at. I just wasn't in a good space. I didn't really want to go through training again, being prior enlisted. I was just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to get yelled at all over again. I went through basic. I know how to march. Why am I here? I just want to be a nurse and then, be an officer and just do that. I wish it was easier process, easier way to get this done. However, I had to go through COT. So guys, if you want to see the full story, go back and watch those other videos. Like I said, that's week 1 and 2 and how I felt. So now I'm going to get into week 3 and 4. So around week 3 and 4, or around week 3, let's say that, things were looking a little bit better. Just a little bit. Week 2, your girl passed, week 2, I failed my PT test, and that was a low blow for me. But I'll say, you know what, it's okay. I missed it by 2 push-ups. I needed a minimum of 18, and I usually surpass my minimums, but I don't know, I guess I just was tired, exhausted, but no excuses, I didn't pass. So I failed my PT test, and then week 3, I'm like, okay, we got an academic test coming up, and the way COT is set up, you have 2 academic tests that you have to take, and you have to get a minimum of an 80 in order to pass the course. So you have to take 1, and then you have to take 2, and those 2 averages have to be 80. If your scores are 80 and 80 or above 80 on both tests, you're fine. You don't have nothing to worry about. And then if you fail, if your average still isn't 80 after those 2 exams, you have to then take the 3rd exam, and if you don't pass that, they give you a course incomplete and you have to come back to COT. So week 3 rolls around. I'm just trying to pick myself up from that PT failure and still trying to get everything together up here, and I take my exam, and your girl failed that exam too. And I'm like, wow, nursing school has taught me how to fail, as far as certain tests and quizzes, and you pick yourself back up and you bounce back from it. But my military career, I'm not used to failing. Everything doesn't go my way, but usually if I work hard for something, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. But I guess this was just an eye-opener. Okay, I did study. Yes, I'm exhausted. We get up at 4:30 every morning sometimes, and I don't go to bed until 9:30, 10, and it's a long day of things to do. So I'm like, I thought I studied. Maybe I didn't study the right way. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I missed 10, and you're only supposed to miss 8. And so I missed 10. And a couple of those questions I did second guess myself on. And flat out I failed. So they have these programs here called SMS, and it's called Special Monitoring, something like that, or Special Monitoring Program, Special Monitor System. I'm not sure, but when you go through COT, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So your girl was on SMS for academics and for PT. So let me give you guys just a rundown of what that consists of. So if you fail your PT test here at COT, basically you have to get into a fitness program called FIP, and you basically have to do, sometimes you have to work out twice a day. So in the morning time, you have squadron PT, and you're doing your basic Air Force exercises, push-ups, sit-ups, and some days you're running, but it's only about an hour, if not give or take 40 minutes of actually exercising, and the rest is stretching or marching there. And then later on that day, you have to go to your FIP program PT, and that consists of about the same thing. But granted, you guys, you don't have a lot of time. Your time is you know, when you're not working out, going to squadron PT, you're eating 3 times a day and you're marching everywhere and you're learning drill and you're in class trying to learn classwork, trying to stay up because you're so tired. So now they're like, well, now you have to work out again. So the time that you have, like they call it student admin time, that's like an hour out of the day. Sometimes it depends on the day, where you can like catch up on stuff. Well, during that time, the FIT program people have to go back to the dorm, change into their PT gear and go work out. Then after they're done with their workout, they have to come back, you wipe off and put your clothes back on, and then you go eat dinner. And so that was a lot. I was very upset that I had to even do that, because I'm like, I never in 6 years, almost 6 years of being in the military, have ever failed a PT test. So now, and I missed about 2 push-ups, and I can tell you everything as far as like why I feel like I failed, and if you would have just let me retake it the next day, everything would have been fine, whatever. But at the end of the day, I didn't meet the Air Force standards. Now granted, those PT tests are mock, meaning they don't count towards your actual score, like your actual, like in your actual Air Force system PT test fitness, you know, thing in the computer. But you know, COT wanted to make sure that you are, you know, when we send you away from here, you are going to be able to pass your test. So, but I'm like telling them, like, I'm still I never broke service of active duty. I have an active duty, you know, passing score in the system. Granted, it wasn't a 90, it was an 87. However, which was the lowest I've ever made. But however, I didn't have to take another one until December. They're like, well, since you're here and you failed and our requirements were for you to pass, you still have to get in this program. So around I want to say week 3, we took a mock PT test and I passed, but I still had to continue with FIP. And so not only am I in the FIP program, I'm also now in special monitoring. So at first they were saying, you know, if you failed the test, that you can't have any base privileges and all that stuff. And base privileges is when you just can go to like the commissary to BX. You know, you can either drive, but you always have to have a wingman. You have to drive. You get a chance to drive. At first they said we couldn't, but it's all upon your squadron commander's discretion. So our squadron commander said, you know, you guys are all adults. You know if you need to study, you know if you don't. So I'm not going to restrict those. Granted, a lot of us still just kind of stayed in our rooms and studied, because you know that's most important. The difference between being on SMS for PT and SMS for academics is that PT, if you just say when you take your so you had a PTB test, which is your PT basic, your PT baseline, and then the next test you take which is the 4th week, is your PTD, which is your diagnostics test. The PTB was when everybody in COT took it, and if you failed that, then you have to take the PTD, which is, you know, the 4th week. But either way, if you fail the PTB or the PTD, you still graduate COT. With the academics, if you fail the test, you don't get those averages, you get a course incomplete and you have to come back. So that's the difference between, you know, failing PT and failing academics. Granted, you don't want to fail any of them. I didn't come into COT wanting to fail. I came into COT wanting to leave, but I didn't come in wanting to fail. So just the fact that I did fail, and it was just like, what the heck, you know. Now I'm in PT and academics, like the 2 main things here. It's just like, I just came and said, I think I want to make life harder on myself, so let's just do that. Nonetheless, you know, after failed the academic test, now that was week 3. Week 3, failed academic test. And I'm like, okay, but I was able to pass a PT mock test on that week 3 of that Friday. So I ended up making like an 89, but however, I was like, well, can I please just get the program? They were like, no, whatever. I end up instead of doing 18 push-ups or 16, which is what I did, I needed 18. This PT test I did 27. So I was actually very proud of myself, because push-ups are very hard for me. Like, I can do 50 something sit-ups, I can run in a good amount of time, but push-ups, oh my gosh, like, ugh. Like, I can make a video on how I do my push-ups, and we can all just work together on this, and y'all can give me some tips about how to make it better. But that's one thing I did say about the FIT program. Like, they gave me some tips about how to use the correct form and like different parts of my hands when I'm on the ground and stuff like that. Because honestly, in the past 6 years of being active duty, I usually sometimes get talked to about my form, you know, not going all the way down, not breaking 90 with your arms, like you have to break 90. You know, I don't break 90 all the time, especially when I'm tired. Like at the end of just trying to push out those last two, my form is like I'm struggling. So I want to work on that. That's a goal of mine. Y'all hold me accountable, work on those. But I did pass my PT mock test in week 3, and I also was able to they have like graduation key personnel. If you guys ever look up a graduation parade for a COT on YouTube, there's certain positions in the parade that you can, I guess, compete for, and like you're doing different things. So you're not marching with the entire squadron, you're marching with, like, you know, you're doing your own thing, your different positions. So I said, you know, one day when they had it, I said I'm not gonna go. You know, I wasn't really feeling it. I was just like, no, I just need to study. I don't really, you know, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do anything. I just want to graduate. That was my mentality. But then it rained, and I was talking to one of my friends here, and he was saying, you know, well, maybe that's God. Because I told him, I said, well, I really love drill and I really like to drill, but I don't feel like doing this. I just want to be done and just graduate. And he said, well, you know, it did rain, so they rescheduled it for tomorrow. So maybe that was, you know, a sign that you should try out. So I went and I tried out for something, didn't make it. And like some of those positions were just like crazy. I was just like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. But then the last one, it started getting dark. We were out there for about an hour or two, and I said, you know, I'm gonna try for this one. I'm gonna leave. It was 15, if not more, and I tried out, and they picked 2, and I got it. And I wasn't even expecting it. I was just like, oh my God, I never win anything in COT. Everything I do is just wrong. So this felt like awesome, like to say, hey, you know, you did this is for you. So week 3 was when things start to look up. I did get that key position. I am the B group adjutant, so I'm doing like this fast walking thing, and yeah, I'm hoping to have a video of that so you guys can kind of see. I'm asking my family to like record it, and I can put it on my page. But so I passed my PT mock test, and then I got that parade position. So that was awesome for week 3, sorry. So now we're moving into week 4. And as we're moving into week 4, I just want you guys to just kind of realize like where I was at. So week TD, which is training day 0, which is we're starting into week 1, week 2, week 3. I am week 1 and week 2, I was completely not wanting to be here. Like, I mean, and it was just bad, and I really felt like going home. Like, it's not even like, oh, I want to go home, like I'm just being a brat. No, I was just like, you know what, maybe the military isn't for me. Like, I just felt like, you know, you gave me 2 years, you know, I've been active duty, and then I took 2 years break, and you don't realize how much you changed in that 2 years. And I'm not saying I changed for the bad, but I was changing certain things. Like, I was just going to nursing school, just being free, you know, just living life, traveling, whatever. And then I come here and it's like boom, 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 you know, get up, get out there. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, because I'm just like, I don't want to do this. I don't like, so I was fighting the process. You know, I talked to the chaplain here, I talked to my flight commander, because at this point in week 1 and 2, I was really like, I broke down maybe twice. And as you guys can go back through my page, you know I'm a pretty strong individual. And I'm not saying strong people can't cry, but I'm usually the type, I don't cry in front of people, you know, like, unless you know me, you know. So I'm just like, unless it's something really bad too. So I'm like crying, I'm just like, I don't know if I want to be here. Like, I don't even know if this is for me. Like, maybe I just want to be a civilian nurse. You know, yeah, I worked hard to get here, but I don't want to do this. And so I was talking to some people, and they were like, in a sense, like, hey, it's all on you to motivate yourself, but I'm gonna give you some tips and strategies to do that. Like, you're here for a reason. Couldn't really see it week 1 and 2. I couldn't see it because when you're in training, everything you do is wrong. You can be marching perfect and it's wrong. It's wrong. Everything is wrong. Your hand is not tucked to your side. Why is your bed not? It's just a lot. Like, so don't get me wrong, it's not, the streaming and stuff is not as bad as basic, but when you've already went through basic and you know the operational Air Force isn't like this, that's the hardest transition point for me. It's just like, why do I have to go through this? Like, you know, I have these people yelling at me, and when I was operational, I was they don't yell at you, so why do I have to go through this again? So I was fighting the process, you know. And I had to realize, like, some of them, for the most part, they were not yelling, or I wasn't getting talked to because of, I was getting yelled at for certain reasons, but I had to realize, like, I had to take the emotions out of it and say, why did I get in trouble for this? Or what was the reason behind it? Was it that I didn't have any situational awareness? For example, there was a situation where I stepped up to march my flight. I think I talked about this in the last video, and I'm just like in a fog, like, okay, I just got to get them out of here, you know, get them to lunch, march them up. First time marching, I'm like, I can do this. There is a captain. I did not salute the captain. I just said, you have to do the greeting of the day. I said, good morning, good afternoon, sir. I didn't salute, and he would, you know, it was a downhill from there. I took it personal because I'm like, wow, you know, really? But what did I learn from it? The bigger picture is I learned situational awareness. I had none. I was just focused on a one-track thing when there was a captain in my face. And if I was at Keesler when I was there, I'll always salute it. Like, it's just being here, being like, but it's no excuses. You always have to stay on your toes. So that's one thing that I have learned while I was here, is to stay on my feet, stay on my toes, always have situational awareness. You know, excellence in all we do is really like a big thing. Like, it's not just the core values, it's the big thing. So I had to start changing my mindset, and you guys know I ramble, so let me go back. Week 1, week 2, I didn't like COT. Week 3, things started to get better. I'm like trying to like learn from the things that I'm getting in trouble for, and not taking things so personal, and, you know, trying to just build myself up. Like, now at this point, week 3 and week 3, I am failing. Like, I am at the bottom, and I don't be at the bottom. Y'all know Wade don't be at the bottom. Like, I like to be up here, and it's like I'm down here at COT, like here. So that being said, I was down here, and week 3 was coming up here. So I started here, week 3 coming up here, and then week 4, boom, 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 boom. Started here, now I'm here. So week 4, that is the week that we had Labor Day break, so we did have an extended weekend, but you still gotta get up at 4:30. But that gave me an extra day to study. I made tons of note cards, even if like, and I went over my note cards, and I said, you know, this is a lot of studying crammed in one test, but I am going to do it. Like, even if I have to write until my hand hurts, that's what I did. I made note cards this big, went over them with some flight mates, you know, try to just do everything I could. Tuesday I took the test. I literally, y'all, almost had like a panic attack. Like, after we take the test, we go back in the room, and I started looking through my notes like, okay, I got that wrong, and I could only miss 6. In order to pass this exam and get that 80 average for both combined tests, I can only miss 6 out of 40. 6. I started looking at those answers, and I was like, oh. And, you know, my flight mates were telling me, well, wait, you don't even know yet, just calm down, because it wasn't just me that failed, but it was other people. But I just get really overworked, and I'm just like overthinking, and I was just like, okay. And I just almost started crying right there before the flight commander even came and gave us answers. I just knew I failed. I prayed, found out I only missed, I believe, 4, and I made a 90. Yeah, I mean, that was probably one of the most like happiest moments ever, because I was just like, wow. Like, it just showed me, like, you pray, you put in the work, and it just showed me that I just automatically started doubting myself, and I automatically started doubting God. Like, he already has it under control. This was all planned out. Like, the whole process of me being here was already planned out, and I just started doubting myself, and I need to stop doing that. You put in the work, wait till you get the answers, and then doubt yourself if you need to do that, or then think about what you could have fixed. But I automatically doubted myself, and then I passed. And so that was week 4. Started off really good. Also took my PT test, the PTD test, that Friday. My goal was to get 30 push-ups, 54 sit-ups, and run my test in about 13:30. You know, the run wasn't really the problem. So when I got out there, I made 24 push-ups, 51 sit-ups, and I ran it in 13:31. And but I still came out with a 91.8. So your girl bounced back. I bounced back from it, and that was an awesome moment for me, because I was just like, don't call it a comeback. Like, I started from here to here, not knowing if I was gonna graduate, not knowing if I even wanted to be here, and I am here, like here. I'm keep my head small. I'm here. So that was like an awesome week. 4 has been awesome. And on top of that, my flight also, Lima flight, we wasn't really like, every flight have their issues and may be good at marching, maybe good at academics, but we kind of teetered. We were just like this when it came to like competing with other flights. Like every week there's a flight of the week or a squadron of the week. And we had our squadron commander call, and all of a sudden he said we have a new, it was the same flight that was winning it every week. And we were like, dang, Kilo just killing us, like killing everybody, not just us, everybody, you know. And the squadron commander said we have a new, you know, flight of the week, Lima. We were like, oh snap, Lima, because like we were like the underdogs. Like, you know, we heard little jodies people said about us, or like calling us Lima losers or whatever, you know. It's all good, you know, all in good fun, but we were like really like the underdogs. Like I have an underdog story for COT, and my flight also in a sense had an underdog story, because week four was really good. And basically this video is really just to let you guys know that every time I go on, well, I didn't really look up COT videos, but the videos I did randomly come across were all like, this is what you need, this is what you have to do. I don't have a video like that. This is really just me, just, you know, I've never seen a COT video saying, hey, I almost failed out. And I never thought I would be making the video saying I almost failed out. However, I do feel like God brought me through that so I can give it to you guys, whoever you are. Whenever you're going through COT, if you haven't even thought about COT, if you're going to COT next month, just so you know, there is not going to be a 5-week program anymore. It's now going into 8 weeks, but you can do it. Just know when you fail, that does not mean you cannot bounce back. Like, I was singing that LL Cool J song, or rapping it. I was trying to learn the words. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers, blah, 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 blah. That was like my little like internal theme song that I had going on, because I had to keep saying to myself, don't call it a comeback. Don't call, because that's how I felt. You felt something in COT, you work your butt off to not want to come back. The goal is to not come back. That's just honestly the way to go. Not come back. And also when you're failing, if you're not learning anything from your failures, it's like you just failed for nothing. Like I chose to look at why certain things happen and go from there, you know. So just know yes, Lieutenant Wade fails too, and I fail. COT definitely has taught me that you can fail, you know, and you can just pick yourself back up, but it's up to you to pick yourself back up. You need people to talk to. There's chaplains to talk. You don't, you know, a lot of people think, you know, talking to chaplains, it means that you're about to do something like suicidal. No. I just needed a non-biased person. Well, everybody's non-biased because nobody knows you here, but I just needed somebody who has good counseling skills and just say, hey, you know, why am I feeling like this? Like, why do I feel like I don't belong here? Why do I feel like maybe I should have stayed in enlisted? Maybe my job in enlisted was good. Maybe I didn't need to be here, or maybe I didn't need to commission, and maybe I should. All these like negative thoughts are clouding my head. Sometimes you need somebody to say, hey, you're here for a reason. You have to figure it out, but you're here. And while you're here, take advantage of why you're here and learn from why you're here. And we graduate next Friday, y'all. Like, family's coming up Thursday, Friday. Like, I made it. I am making it. I'm not finished until I'm in parade, and that's my finish line, is parade. So still got about 6 days left in COT, and I will keep you guys posted on that. And you guys have a good day, okay? All right, bye.